Welcome to the LeanBlog podcast. Visit our website at www.leanblog.org. Now, here's your host, Mark Graban.
Hi, this is Mark Graban from the LeanBlog, and you are watching the second LeanBlog video podcast, this little experiment that we're doing here. You might know that there's already been 65 LeanBlog audio podcasts that I've done over the last 3 years, and you can get those through Apple iTunes or by going to www.leanpodcast.org if you want to catch up on all the good interviews and content that's there. But the video I wanted to bring you today comes from Kevin Frieswick, who, along with his employer, Metro West Medical Center in Framingham, Massachusetts, they worked together to put that video that you're going to see on YouTube. It is a video that shows a very creative approach to trying to help error-proof hand hygiene in a hospital setting. In the lean world, we call this poka yoke, which is a Japanese term that means error-proofing or mistake-proofing. And hand hygiene, hand washing, doing this properly is very important in a hospital setting for preventing the spread of infection, what's called nosocomial infections or hospital-acquired infections. And proper hand hygiene is something that different studies and researchers and just observation in a hospital will show is done less than 100% of the time, unfortunately. So beyond just hanging more signs in the hospital or lecturing the employees, some hospitals are trying to take a creative approach of actually error-proofing this to make sure that employees that are maybe distracted or busy or tired don't forget to wash their hands before going into the room, that there's a simple error-proofing device you're going to see Kevin talk about and demonstrate in the video, something that is at least thought-provoking and something other hospitals have contacted Metro West to learn from and see if they could possibly use this idea in their hospital. So I invite you to tune in, see the video, and then stay here for some audio from the podcast, the audio podcast number 65 that I did with Kevin, which can be heard in its entirety at www.leanpodcast.org.
What we have here is a mistake-proof device for hand hygiene, and its purpose is to be a visual and a contact preventative measure of somebody entering the room before they've washed their hands or sanitized their hands using the touchless hand sanitizer. So it's activated by the light sensor underneath the hand sanitizer, so you can sanitize your hand. There's a motion sensor there that won't let the gate go down until it doesn't see anybody in the passageway. And then to exit the room, you follow the same procedure where you wash your hands before exiting and passage through the door. And it's placed here because this is the one opportunity we have to prevent somebody from making the mistake of entering the room without having washed their hands.
Now with the poka yoke device, you can see that bar that goes across the entrance to the patient room. So a question came up on the blog, and I think it's a natural question to ask. What about emergency situations? Does that bar get in the way, or was that an impediment to getting staff to buy into the idea of the poka yoke?
Yes, actually, that was one of the first comments or the first question that was brought up when we started discussing building this device. What we did is the bar itself, the gate, if you want to call it that, is extremely flexible. So you can literally walk right through it. It will damage it, it'll break it, but that's what's most important, is you have emergent access to that room. You can also just flip the bar up. It is a bar that's powered on a servo, but you can just push the bar up with your finger and it rests in the vertical position if you needed to stay there for a period of time. So we had a concern over blocking access to the room, and that's how we addressed it.
Mm-hmm. I then asked Kevin about the effectiveness of the error-proofing device and whether or not it spread throughout the hospital.
It was very effective, very, very, very effective. Its weakness comes in when you have groups of people entering or exiting, just like you have now. If you have no gate and just a hand sanitizer unit there, if you have a group of people entering, they all have to take the responsibility and remember to wash their hands on the way in and exiting. Mm-hmm. That doesn't change, unfortunately, with the gate, because it's not set to go down between individuals. In fact, for safety's sake, we incorporated a motion sensor so it would not come down on a stretcher that was entering or exiting the doorway. Mm-hmm. So it will stay up until it doesn't see motion. So it does have that weakness, but it did show measurable improvement for our compliance in, by the way, full loop compliance, not just a partial loop on the way in or exiting, but full loop including both. As far as expanding its use, it is a fragile device. It was something that was made with locally readily available parts. It happens to be an automated sanitizer itself, and we took advantage of the battery signal coming out of that and wired it into a servo unit. But it is fragile, and it's definitely not a mass-produced item at this point. That was probably 80% of our decision in going forward. I had approached the manufacturer of the device, of the hand sanitizer unit itself, and unfortunately they didn't have anything and weren't necessarily interested in partnering with us until the device was patented, and there really aren't any other devices commercially available on the market. So that was 80% of the reason we hadn't moved it into other rooms.
Yeah. I then asked Kevin what would happen if somebody from another hospital contacted them about this device, or if that had already happened, or if anybody watching or listening today wants to contact them, what would they do?
If somebody does contact us and they're interested in the designs, we can and will share the designs with people. Mm-hmm. The folks that participated on this Kaizen team, they're pretty proud of the work that they've done, so they are interested in just a note that this was developed and piloted at Metro West Medical Center. Mm-hmm. So we would definitely share the designs. They're very simple, very, very, very simple designs, and I can share those with anybody that's interested in.
I then asked Kevin if this initial poka yoke device had helped spur interest in Lean, or what kind of other impact that it had beyond just the installation in this first room.
Yes, it was very helpful. More so from the standpoint of spreading Lean, the word Lean and the curiosity of Lean very quickly. The hand hygiene unit itself had a sort of a viral effect across the hospital, because it did touch both campuses, but it was such an anomaly to see something like that in a hospital that, people would ask, what is it? Where did it come from? Why is it here? Mm-hmm. The most important thing to share with people was the fact that it came out of a lean event, a Kaizen event. And we could share the names of the people that were part of it. We can share the A3. We can share the picture that was created of the process weeks before this experimental device was made. So it did have an important effect on the rest of the organization from a standpoint of just getting the word and the knowledge of Lean out there, because we are so new at this. Mm-hmm.
Well, I want to thank Kevin Frieswick and Metro West Medical Center in Framingham, Massachusetts, for being so open and sharing their example of experimenting with Lean methods like poka yoke or error proofing to tackle a problem as important as hand hygiene and patient safety and infection control. If you're interested in learning more about Lean in healthcare, I invite you to visit my blog at www.leanblog.org, or check out the website for my book at www.leanhospitalsbook.com. Thanks for watching.